What's up, guys? Keyshawn Ochia here, back at you with another part to an Ultimate Universe video. This will be parts, I'm guessing, 4 and 5 to what if Deku was the reincarnation of Dracula, you could say. Or just gonna be like part 4. I really forgot the parts. Hold on, let me just, sorry about that. 4 and 5 of what if Deku was the reincarnation of Dracula. Now, this is gonna contain some sex and stuff because I feel bad for leaving about 3 weeks and next month, and I haven't been doing videos at all. Also, another quick reminder, guys, if y'all want me to put more videos and do more videos and stuff, like let's just say like 3 days and stuff, and not forget, please, I will put down my Discord and I will make a new channel where someone can be my reminder and remind me to do videos, because clearly I'm forgetting to do videos and I just have a lot on my plate. But if anyone volunteer for it, I will gladly do videos and I will gladly work on videos every day if someone reminds me. But other than that, let's get started. So where we was last off, pretty much we was left off with Toga pretty much breaking in the Castlevania, or the castle, pretty much trying to find some information in the castle, because I'm going to say Shigaraki found out there's a castle in the sky and wanted Toga to go up there to figure out what was actually up there and what they can get, or what they can pretty much steal from there. But pretty much Deku came back and Toga pretty much got captured and got bit and turned into a vampire. Now, let's get to the new parts. After Deku biting Toga in the neck, pretty much Toga pretty much passes out, and Deku tells him to get Toga pretty much in the bed and pretty much wait for her to wake up. Now, we're gonna say a couple hours later, Toga wakes back up with red eyes, might I ask, with red eyes, and pretty much she's thirsts for blood. Now, this is where Deku pretty much is looking at her, and she's pretty much running straight at Deku. Well, pretty much is just, you could say, still dazed, and pretty much falls to the ground and looking around for blood. In her head, she's saying she needs blood. She needs blood. Which pretty much this is where Deku grabs, let's say, a criminal, which the criminal is saying, which I'm going to say the criminal's arms is broken due to Deku breaking his arms. And the criminal is pretty much, making noise, crying out, saying my arms and shit, saying, oh, my arms. Now, this is where Toga hears it, because I'm going to say she's a vampire now. She hears it real loud, much louder than usual. She covers her ears and runs straight at him and pretty much stabs him, cuts his throat, and starts draining the blood out of him, you could say. Now, this is where Toga passes out and wakes back up, and she looks around, pretty much saying, where is she? Which pretty much Deku says, oh, you don't remember? You broke in my castle. And you said you wanted to know me, so I gave you a gift and bit you in your neck and turned you into a vampire. Now, this is where Toga begins to start remembering what she did to a guy, and she gets all the memories of his memories and stuff, and says, "You killed the guy. You sacrificed the guy to feed me." Which pretty much Deku says, "Yeah, and he was a criminal. He was a rapist who raped girls." Which pretty much Toga can't remember all the memories of what he did, and she pretty much is not justifying or anything about that, because, like I said, Toga also has a quirk that does that too. So combined with vampire, it could evolve. It's evolving into a dangerous way. Y'all can think. Just imagine that, guys. With those two power, with being a vampire and having a quirk like that. That's pretty much how I'm explaining. But let's continue. Pretty much after that, Toga pretty much asks Deku who is he, and Deku pretty much explains that he doesn't know himself. All he knows is he has a loving mother. He wants to become the #1 hero. Although he might do some things that might make him look like a villain, he wants to become a hero and bring justice down. Which, this is where Toga pretty much is looking at him and pretty much smiles and says, then I will help. Which, if y'all don't know what happened, if someone bites another person and turns them into a vampire, that person becomes that person's master. So, yeah, Toga is pretty much is the I'm just gonna do it like the Vampire Diaries. So like any emotions or like grudges thing, it's like improvised. So Toga already did like Deku by stabbing him. So her emotions is amplified even higher due to Deku biting her and turning her into a vampire. And technically, she serves Deku now. But let's continue. Pretty much this is where Toga runs up and pretty much hugs him. Well, grabs his arm and tells and asks him what is his next plan. Which this is where Deku tells her to go back to her master or go back to her acquaintance she was with and tell him, well, pretty much just keep an eye on the person who sent you here, which pretty much Toga understood and pretty much goes. This is where Deku pretty much heads back to his home, and pretty much Inko asks where's Deku been at, which Deku pretty much tells her that he was spending the night at a friend's house, which she says, oh, okay, and she said just make sure to text her or call her next time she was worried sick, which Deku agrees and pretty much goes to his room. Now, we're going to switch to Inko in this point. Now, this is where Inko is pretty much looking at Deku goes upstairs and pretty much is opening up a book and she's pretty much reading a book. Now, this book pretty much has the book of the Belmonts, which I'm going to add a little twist into it. Inko pretty much opens up the book and looks in it, and this is where she sees that this is a book about Belmonts and about the whole history about Dracula and stuff, and this is where it be a last page where she looks. Now, this page pretty much talks about when is Dracula be reincarnated. And this is where it says, hello, if you're reading this, you pretty much is a Belmont of the lost family. Dracula might have returned or came back before you know it. No, Dracula is a reincarnation of chaos and will rule the world and create chaos and stuff. Which Inko pretty much is reading more about it, and this is where it starts going into detail. None of us Belmonts is here anymore. Well, there is some of us descendants, but in y'all time, but there's not really some left. But whoever has this book, if you hold on to the print, it will unleash the holy blade. I mean, the holy whip, you could say. Which pretty much as Inko is still reading it, she accidentally pressed the imprint, and this is where the holy whip appears. And it pretty much appears right, and she grabs it. Which pretty much she reads the rest and says that if the if Dracula do comes back, please use this whip and practice with it to slay him. Now, Inko doesn't know who's really Dracula or who is the reincarnation of Dracula, but she has a whip. And she, I'm going to say the Belmont whip pretty much has memories, has a lot of memories. So anyone who has the whip will gain all the memories about Dracula and stuff and what's the true purpose. And Inko is, we're just going to say she's a descendant of a Belmont. And she begins to get all the memories of Dracula. Now, this is where all the memories is coming in, and pretty much she gets all the memories of the Belmonts and what the whip can does, all different Belmonts, what things she can do, what things she cannot do, and she pretty much falls to the ground. This is where Deku hears his mom falls on the ground and runs and asks if his mom is okay, waking her up. This is where she wakes back up, and she has a whole different aura, which Deku notices. It's more, you could say, holy and like a scent of thing, and he begins to feel like a great power in her, which he doesn't know what it is, but he's more concerned of his mom. This is where Inko says she's alright and begins to say that she's gonna get dinner ready, which Deku says okay, and pretty much just has her sit on the couch and pretty much goes out. Now, this is a little bit of a summary of who's a Belmont in the Belmont family, and Inko is one of it. But now y'all know who's gonna be, you could say, a vampire slayer, or maybe not. But let's respect the Deku. Now, pretty much Deku is going to the school, and it's still closed down, but he's going to the school, and this is where he's going to go see the principal because the principal wants to talk to him. and All Might wanted to talk to him, and he started heading in. Now, as he's heading in, this is where he's talked to the principal and All Might start asking Deku some questions like, how did he know that it was a villain's attack and stuff? Which Deku pretty much says that he has a sense, and he felt them come. He felt presence around him, which All Might says okay. And this is where the principal says, well, we might need your help to make sure that there won't be another attack like this to happen again. Which this is where Deku agrees upon it and offers his help to pretty much make sure the attack doesn't happen because he doesn't want his friends to get hurt and stuff. Now, this is where we just do the next day, and Deku is pretty much headed back into his class, and this is where All Might and everybody begins to, well, All Might starts appearing and begins to say that everybody's going on a trip, and they're going to be staying into rooms that they made for the students, or they have for the students, because they want to make sure the students don't get hurt, which everybody's excited about, including Bakugo saying hell yeah, he doesn't have to live with his mom, which he pretty much gets a cold chilling because he felt like his mom hurt him. But pretty much after that, this is where pretty much Deku is, just looking out the window, relaxing and stuff. And this is where he gets connected to Toga, and Toga pretty much is just like talking to Deku and explaining that what's their plan and what they're going to do next, and what place they're going to hit next. Which this is where Deku gets what's going to happen, and this is where they're going to attack the trip or the camp where they're going to be at. Which Deku gets the information and begins to raise his hand and says that he has to go to the bathroom, which All Might lets him go. Now this is where Deku goes to the principal. Already let out the warning and told the principal, which the principal pretty much looks at Deku and says, "Are you sure about this?" Which Deku nods his head and says, "Yeah." Which pretty much this is where the principal thinking, "What should we do then?" Which Deku says, "Let's set up a trap for them." Which this is where, as Deku says that, this is where the principal says, "Yeah, we might can do that, and then we can capture the villains who's planning all these skits or these schemes." Now, this is where they continue the whole trip thing, and they start going. Now, this is where everybody's on the bus decided that they're going to be hanging out on this vacation, thinking that they can stay in their rooms and stuff and be perfectly fine, right? As they hop on the bus, this is where they say, "Wait, this is off a cliff," which this is where the two other superheroes comes in. And Deku already knows it's a trap, and he jumps out the way before she destroys the crater, and everybody else falls except for Deku. Now, well, except for Deku and Bakugo, because Bakugo, like I said, is more sharper because of Deku, so he jumps out the way too. Now, this is where the lady looks in and she says, "Oh, look like y'all two didn't fall for it." Which Deku says, "Oh, were we supposed to?" Which she says, "Oh, no, y'all fine. Y'all don't have to help him." Which this is where Deku hears a big creatures and stuff in the woods, which Deku and Bakugo looks at each other and nod and jumps down to go help him out. Now, everything happens the same except for Deku pretty much is destroying the monsters much easier with his abilities and stuff, and Bakugo is doing a little bit more too. Now, after that, everybody heads out the woods and everybody's all tired except for Deku and Bakugo. They're a little bit more in shape, so yeah. And the teacher says, "Congratulations for surviving. Now everybody get washed up. Y'all got more training to do," which everybody else is just saying, except for Deku, he's not really complaining about it. And Bakugo, a little bit, but not too much. But this is where they're all training and stuff, testing out their quirks and stuff. Deku, he's pretty much not doing anything other than nothing at all. He's just reading a book and just relaxing, and pretty much just chilling at the sun because the sun doesn't really hurt him. I mean, it's a little bit, tiny bit nullify his ability, tiny bit, but not too much, like 5% of it. But he's pretty much fine. This is where pretty much the teacher walks up to Deku and says, "Are you going to practice? Are you going to start training?" Which Deku looks at the teacher and says, "Nah, I'm good." Which this is where he pretty much says, "All right, let's make a bet. If I can, if you can manage to hit me, then I'll leave you alone for the rest of this camp. But if you can't hit me and I hit you, you're gonna have to work with everybody else. Which this is where Deku agrees on the bet and starts getting up. Now, this is where the teacher says, "On your mark, get set, go." And I'm gonna say it's the cat guy because I forgot his name. Forgot his name. He pretty much, uh, was waiting for Deku to pretty much, to hit him. Which Deku pretty much is right behind him. Says, "Got you." Which pretty much the teacher looks and says, "What? How did you?" And realized that he got a cut on his cheek. Which Deku says, "I win." Which pretty much the teacher is mad, but he doesn't rematch him and just walks away. Which Deku pretty much goes back to the seat and just starts reading a book and minding his business. Which everybody is like surprised that Deku just immediately just beat the teacher without even trying, and also that he didn't summon his minions because many people know that he has minions, like the three skeletons, like the flying kick skeleton, the Belmont looking head ass whip skeleton, and pretty much the skeleton with the boomerangs. But other than that, yeah, pretty much they're surprised that he didn't use them, but he didn't. Now I'm going to pretty much continue going because might as well. Let's get up to 20. Pretty much after that, we're gonna say the next day. Deku meets the boy of the lady, and pretty much Deku creates a bond with him, talking to him and stuff. And the kids say that he has a useless quirk. It's only like shoots water and stuff. Which Deku says there's always more potential that you have. I can see it in you. Which Deku can see unique auras and stuff. And pretty much Deku gives him a boost and says, "Now open up your hand and shoot out water," which pretty much the kid does, and he shoots out a massive blast of water, destroying a tree, which Deku says, "See?" Which the kid is amazed, saying, "That came from me?" Which Deku is smiling, saying, "Yeah." Now, this is where Deku and the kid creates that bond. Now, the kid calls Deku Big Brother, so everybody in the campus pretty much think it's cute that the kid's calling him Big Brother Deku. But pretty much, this is where Deku is pretty much talking to one of the other teacher, Razorhead, and explaining to Razorhead that where's the traps is going to be set up at because he pretty much planned out all the traps and he knows where the traps is going to be at. Which Razorhead says, "All right," and we're just going to start at that later at night. Now, later at night, this is where the attack is supposed to begin, and we're going to say these are where the two villains comes in, and pretty much the two villains that was pretty much trying to trap the heroes pretty much realize that there's no heroes at their certain location, and pretty much they get attacked and get ambushed. Which this is where all the villains are realizing that, well, some of the villains are not realizing that it's a trap yet, and half of them is already getting captured and stuff, including the guy with the arctation muscles. Before he can attack the kid, he got bamboozled already. Well, you could say pretty much killed off by Deku, but pretty much all the villains are getting ambushed. So it's more like the opposite. And every villain is trying to escape or try to get out. And it's already too late. Now, for Toga, she pretty much is doing her part, but she pretty much gets out of there. Not even hurting the students or anything, just getting out of there. And just doing her part to be the spy. And gets out. Pretty much saying she got to go. Now, half of the villains got captured and half of the villains didn't captured. But some of the students that was supposed to get captured that arc didn't get captured. Bakugo didn't get captured, and none of them got captured, pretty much. But let's continue. Pretty much after that, now I should probably set this warning. Now I know that the sports festival was supposed to start first, and then like the hero camp thing, but I just wanted to mix it up a bit, make it a little bit crazy. But if I did get it right, just let me know. But pretty much after that, this is where Deku was getting thanked by the principal and Razorhead and them by making sure that none of the students got hurt or anything. And some of the villains that got captured is going to get interrogated. Now after that, pretty much this is where Deku is headed back to his room and pretty much goes in about to go in there until All Might thanks Deku personally for saving their butts from anyone getting hurt, and also tells him that the sports festival is coming up tomorrow and get prepared. Which Deku smiles and says, "All right," or pretty much heads in his room. Now this is part part 4 and 5 of What If Deku was the reincarnation of Dracula. If you like, leave a like, do all that stuff. Also, like I said, please, if anyone will volunteer to become my personal schedule person and or be my alarm to remind me to start making videos every day or something like that, please just let your name out in the comment. I will send you the Discord link and I will make you one of the admins so you can make your own group group thing so you can let me know every single day. But I'm Keyshawn Chia. Thanks for watching and peace out.
It looks like you lost another one.